As I live and breathe, raisin.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the show, people.
Welcome to the show.
Eat my shorts.
So here is to conversation.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Welcome to the Cash Exchange.
Welcome.
What's up?
See, you are in a brand new fancy looking kitchen with your little
I'm in
fake Keurig.
the lap of luxury here in Beantown,
In
the
Beantown.
city of beans, the city of nerds.
Why is Chicago not the Beantown? Why is Boston Beantown?
Boston baked beans,
Oh.
I think. I don't know. Maybe that came after. I have no clue. I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't
Paul
think I've ever
Revere
had
was really into beans.
the magical fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll ask. I got a good connect here, so I'll ask him why it's called Beantown. I'm sure they learned it in school.
Yeah. Does he have the thick accent that I can't mock?
Mm-hmm.
I can't
He
do
does.
a good Boston.
He's like if
Okay.
Peter Griffin was just a real dude. He's like the dude that Peter Griffin would be based off of.
Okay.
He's very New England, and he's a nice guy. A lot of people here aren't nice. I think that's just the Northeast in general. I think
Sure,
they
yeah.
just think that they've got a lot going on when they really don't.
I will live and die by
I-
Noah Kahan's music, despite the fact that I've been to the Northeast once in my life.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Beantown, Boston, Massachusetts. You could give me 20 tries. I couldn't spell Massachusetts right. But
I was looking up something in Massachusetts the other day, and I swear to God, I spelled it 4 different kinds of wrong. There's too many double letters. At some point, just relax a little.
I agree. Sets shouldn't have 2 T's. That's stupid. But some Quaker Pilgrim nonsense that just is just a holdover.
We're okay to mock the Quakers, right? They're not going to hear this.
Yeah. I think they'd be fine. And even if they did hear it and they got a little upset, they can't do anything about it. Quakers are pacifists, so
Are they? Didn't know that.
you didn't know that's like their big thing, that they're
I-
pacifists.
I know 0 things about the Quakers outside of the oats.
Yeah, well, you're not going to see him kicking anyone's ass. He's going to try to solve his disagreements through words.
Oh, okay. Like rap battle style, or
Yeah, an epic rap battle of history. Did you ever watch those on YouTube?
I loved those. I haven't seen. They just posted a new one pretty recently. I think it's probably like Trump and Elon.
Ugh,
Haven't watched that.
I didn't know
because
they still did them.
The brain rot is real.
You tired of hearing about good old DJT and Musky Mus?
I haven't heard anything really about the two of them together since
Since his black eye and he got kicked out of the White House?
since
Do you know about that?
they were beefing on their individual platforms, yelling into the ether.
That was right after
Oh.
he was seen at the White House with a black eye and then no longer was a contractor for the government or doing whatever in whatever capacity for the government that he was doing.
Does that mean no more Doge? Oh no.
I don't know. But I did spend some time driving around Boston today. I rolled down the window. I yelled at all the nerds at Harvard. I said, "Go Yale."
Yeah.
Like 3 miles down the road, passed by MIT. Told them to suck it and Caltech is better. And then I got caught up in all the traffic by Harvard and MIT and regretted it. Took me
That
like,
sounds right.
I don't know, 20 minutes to get 5 miles. Nonsense. And just the summer. I don't know why it's so busy over there.
Yeah. This is when all the Alums are at their worst. People who never leave
Yeah.
Boston.
You got MIT nerds, you got Harvard nerds, and you got the frickin' townies.
The freaking townies.
The frickin' townies. The ones that hate the first two.
Don't all of them hate all of the other ones?
I would assume that there's probably bad blood between Harvard and MIT, but they both hate the townies. The townies hate them. The only difference is that the townies can back up their talk. I don't think pre law school nerd is gonna be able to back anything up until he gets his degree, and then he can just sue them and get their house and make them a townie of some other town. I don't know. Anyways, today, your 3 things
What do you got?
are deodorant, Big Bang Theory, and smart cars.
Are we talking Big Bang Theory, the show, or Big Bang Theory, the theory?
The Big Bang Theory. I don't know. I guess they could both apply. I was thinking the show more than the theoretical beginning of the universe. But,
Okay.
I mean, I guess they could both apply to today's topic.
So the Big Bang Theory, probably the show. Deodorant and
Probably the show.
self-driving
Smart
cars?
cars.
Smart cars.
Smart cars. No, not it's the stupidest of all cars. That's the irony.
The Cybertruck is the stupidest of all cars.
No. Have you been in one?
No. And I have no intention
Neither.
of being in one. Austin has
want to.
a fire Cybertruck. I don't know how that works. There is
pretty
nothing.
sweet.
There is nothing more Austin than a fire truck.
So
It's
if
a
they pull
Cybertruck.
up a little too close and the fire spreads and it sets the lithium batteries on fire, what happens then?
Then your fire
Yeah,
truck
the
just turned
lithium
into a
explosion.
claymore.
Oh, that's pretty silly. That is dumb.
Yeah, it is. It's real goofy. So smart cars, the Big Bang Theory, and deodorant.
Yes.
I don't even know if I have like a way to connect 2 of those dots. Big Bang Theory and deodorant, full of nerds. Nerds tend to not be the most hygienic.
I mean, I would think that deodorant isn't high up on a shopping list for especially like convention nerds. I've heard stories.
Yeah.
Never been, but I've
That
heard
isn't
that
accurate.
it's not a priority.
It is not, especially considering the fact that you're packed in with all of these people in very expensive, very heat-trapping outfits.
I've seen
not
videos of
Not fun.
women peeling them off and just a pool of sweat just falling out. And that is gross. That
It's like a
is
sauna suit.
some nerds like fever dream, wet dream, really wet dream. But not mine. That's gross.
Oh, so reptile dysfunction is off the table, but we can talk about wet dreams.
I mean, it's a dream about something that's wet. Whatever happens out of the dream is that's not my concern. I'm just talking about all the sweat within the dream.
And I was just talking about lizards maybe running our government. So
It wasn't about lizards that are just having a really hard time at work right now.
you'll have to listen to the episode and find out.
Will do.
Okay, so yeah, no, I don't think I have anything for this one. I don't know how those things relate.
Well, I'll break it down for you. Deodorant is meant for one place, and it's meant to serve one function, to keep you from being musty and gross, and keeping you pleasant to be around in a polite society.
I work in a place that law has gone just out the window. It is
You should start putting up signs.
deeply problematic.
Or just go and get like some cheap ones, put them in a basket and say free. Or just start handing them out.
Yeah.
Hey, I got this and I thought of you.
Yikes.
Big Bang Theory. So if we're taking the core cast, which started out as 4, ended up at what, 6? I don't know. I didn't finish the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Or 3 seasons. So
Yeah,
it started as 4 and then ended as 6, right?
Well, so it started with the 5 because it started with the 4 guys and Penny.
Penny, yeah.
And then
Ended
Bernadette
at
and
7.
Amy. So 7.
Okay, so it started at 5, ended at 7. But every single one of those characters had one defining trait that just really never changed about them throughout the entire series. It went on for like, what, 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Sheldon was always the smartest one in the room and just a jackass to be around.
Sure.
Kuther was always the weird foreigner that was awkward around women.
Fez. Yeah.
Wallowitz was always the horn dog.
Yeah.
Leonard was always the real awkward one, but the de facto leader of the group. Penny was always the dumb blonde, and then whatever the other 2. Anyways, so they all had just one trait, and that's what carried them through the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
Smart cars. Very stupid car, very stupid vehicle. It's just meant to get you from point A to point B. There's not a single other thing you can do with a smart car except haul yourself to Whole Foods or wherever you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Pilates, I don't know.
Nate used to drive a smart car. For the for those of you who need a frame of reference, he is, I believe, 6'2". He's a big dude, and he drove a smart car in Berlin for a minute there.
On a dare?
I picture the really tall dude in The Simpsons, Nelson laughs at, where he like unfolds himself from the smart car to yell at him.
This is the only car I can afford. I didn't know that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna look at him differently now. So
that's fair. That's fair. I did too. It wasn't a deal breaker or anything, but it was close.
Might have been. Probably should have been. But anyways, all these things, one-trick ponies. They had a job. They did that job well, but never bothered to spread their wings and see if they could become something else.
Sure.
As far as I know, no one's ever tried to put a V8 in a smart car and do a couple laps at Daytona. Know what I mean? Pull a boat down the road. Maybe they have. I haven't seen it.
One-trick ponies.
One-trick ponies. And today's episode is specifically about actors who are one-trick ponies.
Are we talking like Will Arnett in BoJack Horseman, or?
Yeah, he didn't make my list, but he is definitely, if they need like a smarmy dude for a voice, or with a deep voice, they're gonna get Will Arnett. They're gonna get Job Bluth in anything that he does.
Yeah.
Same with my first one, Jason Momoa.
I didn't have him on my list.
No? Huh.
So I was thinking about, I guess, more like tenured actors when I was looking into this.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of people who'd had like at least a decade of playing the exact same person.
Jason Momoa started in Game of Thrones. That was like 2012. He wasn't Jason Momoa then. He was Khal Drogo.
Sure.
And that is the crazy thing about Jason Momoa is that he started off in such a prestigious role and then just puttered out.
Yeah.
Like, he never built from that. I think right after Game of Thrones, he did like some Greek mythology movie. Maybe like a Hercules.
I could see that.
No, that was The Rock.
He would make a good Hercules.
He did something where he was completely shaven, and it was the wrong move.
He made the mistake of being Aquaman. I think that's what doomed his career. Being Aquaman and co-starring with Amber Heard were two just bad things.
Missteps,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's always had like the dumb surfer dude, and then he's always been like just massive muscle.
Yeah.
And so those are the roles he gets. As far as I know, he hasn't He hasn't spread his wings into something more dramatic.
I
Past Game of Thrones, I don't think there's. In Game of Thrones, he didn't even really have to talk. He just grunted a lot.
sure, yeah. I mean, I would argue that his role in Fast 15, I don't know which one we're on now. His role in the Fast and
Fast 10.
Furious franchise was at least a little bit less of that kind of character. He at least got to be a little bit more fun.
Fasten your seatbelts.
The Minecraft movie.
The Minecraft movie, Aquaman. So I had another one. But yeah, I mean, it's the same general character. Maybe he's a little divergent in the Fast movies, but not really. Not by enough to
Yeah.
consider it its whole new thing. And it's amazing going through all these people and how many of them are in the Fast series. And it's not like the Expendables where it was just a stacked cast of like 12 people and then the next one had 20 people and then 30 people.
Mhm.
It's pretty much been the core people for the entire series. And all of them are just the Fast and Furious people.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all they can do.
I mean, if your name is Vin Diesel, I think you are willingly putting yourself in that box.
If you change your name from Mark Sinclair to Vin Diesel, callback.
He manifested. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Do you think that Jason Momoa could do something serious? Well,
I think he could, just from what I've seen of him in Game of Thrones. I think he could do something a little bit more nuanced than just being like a buff dude as his whole character arc.
Not cool, dude. That kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, if you start your career on Baywatch, I think the cards are kind of played for you.
What are you saying about Hasselhoff? Like that was after Knight Rider. Never mind. What are you saying about Pam Anderson?
I have no comments on Pam Anderson.
She is going to be in the new Naked Gun movie, and I'm super excited for that movie.
I have that in my list. Not Pam Anderson, but the Naked Gun movie, the new one.
It's on your list of one-trick ponies?
It's on my list for one of my people.
Oh, Leslie Nielsen?
No, Liam Neeson.
Oh, Liam Neeson. Okay, we might get into a lively discussion about that one. Because I think he's got some range.
So I went in on Liam Neeson thinking he was a one-trick pony, but he had like the Seth MacFarlane project, so he had done like A Million Ways to Die in the West and Ted 2.
Great movie. Very underrated.
The more that I thought about it, the less I think he fits into this box. But I do think he has like two separate like identities.
But he was in Schindler's List. He was Oscar Schindler.
I mean, okay, fair point. Fair point. I will remove Liam Neeson from my list.
But we can still talk about Liam Neeson.
We can still talk about Liam Neeson.
Maybe we can say that he has a pre-Taken career and a post-Taken career.
That's a fair assessment. I think that
so maybe that's where we can still keep him on the list, all the post-Taken stuff.
Okay. I think once he found that one jacket that he wears in Taken, it was off to the races. He doesn't take that jacket off for like 6 straight movies. Cold Pursuit.
He doesn't
he's
go
in
jacket
Alaska.
off for
he's
6
still...
movies? That's a long time.
And I'm the problem.
You can't say a phrase like he doesn't jacket off. He doesn't go jacket off for 6 movies straight and not expect me to say something. Come on.
He doesn't remove this one specific jacket for like 6 movies. Is that better?
There we go. See? That is not clippable. The first one you said is completely clippable. And it will be.
The cold open of this episode is going to be just as bad as the last one.
Number 2. Sir Jack Black.
That one also made my list, which was a bummer. I do love Jack Black. I like most of the things that I've seen him in.
I like him fine, but it is astounding that he has made an entire career off the same shtick.
His whole music
Which it's
career is
like,
based on that.
yeah,
It feels very
yeah.
authentic to him.
He's a good singer. He just did a cover of Mr. Crowley by Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne, one or the other, both. I don't know. That's pretty good, and like his Tenacious D stuff is fine. I mean, it's the songs are gimmicky, but if he was doing regular songs, I don't think that you would think it was a gimmick. So like the music
Yeah.
itself is fine, and in a different genre, I think that it wouldn't be seen as any kind of joke or anything like that. I think he has a real passion for it.
Sure, yeah. I
But
think
he's like, oh, what?
I was gonna say, I think that a good rule of thumb that I found for if it's a one note actor, they have this like shtick that works for them is if they voice an animated character who is just the exact same as every live action one they do. Kung Fu
Like Poe
Panda,
from Kung Fu Panda.
Bowser. They're both just every movie Jack Black has done.
It's funny because like his thing is like energy set to 150%. Clothes that are way too tight, jumping around
Yeah.
doing kicks that someone of his stature should not be able to do, and just yeah, just he's like Robin Williams, but without the stand up chops.
Sure.
Like Robin Williams could do that with, but then have like intelligent jokes to go with it. Like he was super high energy and cracked out, but Jack Black is just doing the same thing, but just making like noises, like karate
Scatting
noises.
is half this man's personality. And I respect the hell out of it.
And I don't think I've ever seen a man in more cameos than Jack Black.
Think so?
I don't think so. He was in The Mandalorian as a cameo. He was in, he was in a game I just played by the Rick and Morty guy.
Oh, High on Life?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a cameo in that. Him and Jamie Lee Curtis, maybe?
Weird choice.
Some random female actress. But yeah, at the end, they were just random cameos, and they immediately died. But that's just on brand for Jack Black because he's just a random cameo guy.
Sure.
But I mean, he didn't start out his career like that. I mean, he was in High Fidelity with John Cusack. He had some other stuff, but then like in the really late '90s and then into the 2000s, that's when he really honed in his persona and just the lunacy began. Like Saving Silverman, he was in that. Yeah. He was a nut job in that.
He was a lot more moderate in Shallow Hal. I think that movie's dumb, but
yeah, that just the premise of the movie and Gwyneth Paltrow. Just I don't know. I liked it when I first saw it, but then I was also like, I don't know, 13 when I saw it. So I don't think it would hit as hard today. One movie that he starred in that was a serious role, but it was also very heavily painted with Jack Blackiness is Bernie. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I ever watched it. I remember it coming out.
It's him as a funeral director in somewhere small town Texas, and then Matthew McConaughey is, I want to say, like a detective, some sort of authority, and then Shirley MacLaine. And I don't remember the story. Look it up. It's a decent movie. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular, but it's a more serious role than you've seen him in any time recently.
I'd still argue that peak Jack Black was Tropic Thunder. That was like the apex of the lunacy and also the quality of his movies.
That's true. I would love to see the movie that he did a trailer for in. Or
Yeah,
is that the fats?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know if this would hurt the idea of monetization, but speaking of going full retard, Nate watched The Accountant too,
The
and he
fatties.
agrees with you. It was a terrible movie.
It was a terrible movie. And it was like it was like Taken meets Rain Man.
Train Man.
And it was, you couldn't take it seriously, and yeah, it set autism back a couple decades.
Yikes. He sent me a clip
From my list,
of
good.
them line dancing where Ben Affleck is like watching their steps so that he can just suddenly replicate
Just
it.
pick it up like
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, Copperhead Road. One of the most redeeming parts of that movie, except for the Ben Affleck line dancing in New Balances. So,
Not even
if
going
you
to
need
break
a,
out the boots?
oh no, and that was another one that we'll get into this a little later because I have some issues with the way Texas is represented in films and television, but
Looking at you,
yeah,
SpongeBob.
it was. I was mildly offended,
Okay.
but that'll come up later. Next on my list, if I were to say something like, I don't know, I'll be back, or get to the chopper, or do you, do you,
I'm sorry, what was that last one?
do you know what I would be talking about? Who I would be referring to?
I'm a little disappointed that you didn't use the accent in the first two things. Where's Schwarzenegger?
Get to the chopper. I'll be back. God, the people on either side of me are going to be getting a real show tonight. We're talking about my man Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is another one that just, if he's in a movie, you know what it's gonna be. It's just gonna be, he's this unstoppable machine man that will mow down anything in his path.
Sure.
And he did try to break away from that pretty early on, like with Jingle All the Way, which is good, but then at the end, he has the physique of this action figure superhero, so that also plays into, and to see like this hulking man that's just like an accountant or a I don't even remember what he is in that movie.
Real Clark Kent.
An ad guy, maybe.
I don't remember
I don't
what
know.
he does. It's been a minute since I've seen that
But
movie.
just completely beefed up dude just in an office job. So his Terminator, Predator, Conan the Barbarian stuff did come into play in that one. Kindergarten Cop, same thing. It was like a fish out of water. Like he's this big hulking man that's with all these kindergartners. And then Twins. The whole joke in that was that they were twins, but one is ripped and like 6'6", and the other one is Danny DeVito.
Incredible.
But he did try his hand at comedy. He also had a cameo part in Around the World in 80 Days, which is a great movie. Jackie Chan. That movie had a bunch of cameos in it. The Owen brothers were in it, or not the Owen brothers. Yeah,
The Wilsons.
Wilson brothers.
I don't know if this is an actual fact, but I heard from a reputable source that whenever Schwarzenegger movies play in Germany, that they're dubbed over because his accent is so thick it is almost unintelligible. in actual German.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're the Austrians, Bavarians. I'm not sure exactly what Schwarzenegger is, but that accent is just like
He's Austrian.
the it's like deep south.
Hmm.
He's
So
he's
do
a
you
German
think
hick.
whenever the movies play over there, he's just like, get to the chopper, y'all. They're like, I'll be back.
That is exactly what I picture. They won't let him dub his own movies in a language he speaks fluently. Just got to be
Oh.
just incredibly humbling.
But as far as the what I said about the Fast series with
Mhm.
just being full of one trick ponies, it's the same with the Expendables, but to an even heavier degree.
I think at least with the
Uh,
Expendables, they're self-aware.
they are, yeah, like they all know what they're there for, and I think at this point, all the people in the Fast series know what they're there for. They're not winning any Oscars. They're just there to
No,
have fun.
Tyrese is in it for alimony checks.
uh, I heard a quote recently from Samuel L. Jackson about how the movies he's in a lot of movies, but none of them are like Oscar. And they're like, "Oh, would you like to win an Oscar and all this stuff?" And he's like, "I don't care about that. I am in movies that I'd want to see in a movie theater."
Mm-hmm.
That's just so refreshing for someone to be honest and just say, "Hey, I'm just in this for fun."
I mean, if there's anyone, it should be Samuel L. Jackson.
And it's like when Bruce Willis was doing like all these direct to DVD movies, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's fallen so far." And he used to be in Die Hard, and he used to be like Hollywood's it guy, and now he's doing this. But then you find out that he's got like this horrible disease that is eating away at his body, and he just wants to do as many of these as he can so that he can leave his family as much money as possible.
Damn, I didn't know that. I knew
Yeah.
about the disease. I didn't know that he was on a mission.
No, it was like it would be like every 3 months there'd be a new movie that was straight to DVD that was or I mean I get now it's straight to streaming, but that Bruce Willis was in, and just no one could understand why he had let his career go like this. And then it comes out about the disease stuff, and that he knew that he wouldn't be able to do it for much longer, so he's got to get as much in as possible. And then like the ones towards the end were um, like he was literally just in them and not doing much, just in them so that he could collect that paycheck.
Yeah.
But I also had some honorable mentions for this one. I didn't really take too many notes on anything with their careers or anything. Just it's a lot of people that we've talked about previously in these episodes. But numero uno, Dakota Johnson, our fave.
I do like her. She's just so weird.
She is weird, and she's the same
She
exact character. It doesn't matter if she's a sex slave in 50 Shades or if she is supposed to be spearheading this whole Spider-Verse thing. It's the same character, same delivery, same everything that you're going to get from her, no matter what.
Does that stop me from wanting to watch The Materialist? Not at all. It's
I
Pedro
don't get what
Pascal
it is.
and Captain America and Dakota Johnson.
No thanks. No thanks. I'm out on Pedro.
What? Why?
Because I'm not buying into it. They're trying to push him too hard.
That's
And
fair.
I just think that he's a very weird dude, and something's going to come out sooner or later.
Think so?
And I do. I think that I think he's got some skeletons in that closet.
That's a bummer. That would be a bummer. I'm in the middle of playing The Last of Us 2 right now. Which technically has nothing to do with him, but
Can't do it. I don't do that jumpy stuff.
it's not really as jump scary as you think it'd be.
No?
No. There's a specific kind of the zombies that are more jump scary because they're like stealthy and so you can't hear or see them coming all the time. But other than that, like it's not bad. I have it set on one of the easier settings, so it's not as jumpy, and they have a lot lower of health.
Hashtag still not sponsored by Pepsi, but hopeful.
Not yet. If they're willing to sponsor Madam Web, they can sponsor us.
I agree.
Just saying.
I agree. We are much more entertaining for the right reasons.
I like to think so. With a much lower budget, the cost to sponsor us is very low.
Yeah, maybe slip us like a 50 and a couple cases of Pepsi. We'll start there until we work our way up to a Kendall Jenner commercial.
Ugh, gross.
And solve racism.
But she already solved racism. What are we going to solve? Poverty?
Yeah.
Can we just give it to a homeless person?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll walk around, we'll hand out Pepsis to homeless people and then just throw golden coins at them.
The chocolate-covered
right?
kind?
Yeah. Yeah. High in protein. I also had, as an honorable mention, Sylvester Stallone.
Sure.
I don't think he ever escaped Rocky. He's doing some stuff now, like Tulsa King of Tulsa.
Mm-hmm. Tulsa King.
But it's essentially just a mobster. Which, he was in that era of, if it wasn't Rocky, then it was a mobster. He was just a tough guy, that kind of shtick. Vin Diesel, another honorable mention. We've talked ad nauseum about Mark. Mr. Sinclair.
So much so we're on a first name basis with him. A real first name basis.
Yeah, we don't call him Vin, we call him Mark.
Mr. Sinclair if he pisses us off.
Oh. And then we have Dwayne the Boulder Johnson. No matter how hard he tries, he's always just The Rock. And I think that might be a curse of having a persona built around a nickname.
Yeah.
Because, Stone Cold Steve Austin is always just going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock is just always going to be The Rock.
Steve Austin seems like the dude who matches with everybody on Tinder. But no, do you think he's leaning away from the Rock persona? I don't feel like he is.
I don't think he is either. I think that he tried his hand at steering away from it for a little bit. He's got a movie coming out soon about an MMA fighter, and it's a dramatic role from what I gather about it. But they had to put 15 pounds of prosthetics on his face for you to not look at it and say, oh, that's just The Rock.
Yeah.
He looks pretty unrecognizable, and I'll watch it. I'll see how he does, and I'll report back. But I don't have very high hopes for it.
I could see that. It would seem like he's kind of returning to his roots in that, so it might not be bad.
It might not. I don't know.
I'm so tired of The Rock. I liked him when he first came out, when he did The Game Plan, which was one of his first actual movies.
You know what his first one was?
His first one was what was it? Be Cool, right?
That was
the one where he's
early on, but
bodyguard.
But I don't think that was his first one. I'm pretty sure his first one was the Scorpion King in Mummy 2.
Okay.
With just the absolute worst CGI you've ever seen. But I'm pretty sure that was his first big movie role.
Yeah.
And then he started breaking out and doing those Be Cool, Walking Tall, other
Tooth Fairy
films. Tooth Fairy. Yeah, he did have a string of family comedies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he nailed down the smolder like Eugene in Tangled, and the rest is history. Because we had a span of 5 years maybe, where we had Jungle Cruise, Jumanji, Journey to the Center of the Earth. The worst one, not the one with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart. Rampage. San Andreas. Lots of forgettable movies.
Yeah. Rampage was a remarkably stupid movie based on an okay video game.
Do you have any more for this list? Because I have a whole nother side. I have a B side to this record.
How did you split it in half? What was your dividing line?
Next part is about one trick ponies that broke the mold.
Oh, okay. In that case, I do have some extra ones.
Shoot.
So, I think you mentioned it earlier. Jason Statham.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the Expendables Fast bubble.
Yeah.
I don't think I specifically named him.
So whenever I was trying to build this list of actors, I was trying to find the one thing that kind of broke them out of this role, and his was one that the best case scenario that I could find was Spy, which was still just him parodying everything that he does in every other movie he's been in, which feels a little gratuitous. I don't think that's making the point you wanted to. I had
That's fair.
one of the Nepo babies that I think we forgot in the episode on
Uh-oh.
Nepo babies, which is Kristen Stewart.
She's a Nepo baby?
Mm-hmm. Her dad is a director, I think.
Huh.
Let's see.
Yeah, I didn't have her on my list, but I should have. I can't stand her.
Jon Stewart is a TV producer, and Jules Stewart is a filmmaker.
Huh.
She is one of the, I feel like, most infamous one-trick ponies, just because she does the same, brooding thing, just like
Dead
deadpan.
eye.
Yes. In everything she does.
Yeah. Yeah.
The counterpoint to that was when she did Princess Di in Spencer, which I haven't seen, but I've heard.
Yeah. No.
I've heard not good things.
I believe it.
I had Ryan Reynolds. Also is he on your B side?
No, but I wouldn't say that he necessarily broke from his typecasting, because a lot of the stuff that he does, he still goes back to the well.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the Deadpool stuff is just stuff that he was doing when he was first starting out, like the Van Wilder waiting, that kind of stuff is all in Deadpool. But he does have the ability to break away from that and do like dramatic stuff or
Does
stuff
he?
that takes more than. Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Buried?
Yeah, that was the exception that I had. But other than that, I couldn't find a movie of his that didn't feel like he could have been copy pasted from Waiting.
He wasn't like in The Proposal with Sandra Bullock. He wasn't like the smarmy jackass all the time. And then he has like a character shift towards the end.
Yeah.
Where he seems like he actually learned a lesson versus, I don't know, movies like Waiting or Deadpool or Van Wilder.
Yeah. I think the writing for The Proposal is a little bit different character arc wise than a lot of the stuff that he does, but he still feels like he's the same guy, just a little bit less of a dick in The Proposal. Like he's still sarcastic. He bullies Sandra Bullock into proposing to him, which he should. That is the appropriate response to that situation. But Detective Pikachu, even animated, like I said, he's still the exact same as Deadpool, just with the PG-13 mouth.
Take a quick gander at his IMDb.
Gonna prove me wrong? Show me this man's got range.
I'm just curious. I think for the most part you're probably right, and the ones that I'm thinking of are just like outliers. But
his name is Ryan Rodney Reynolds. That's too many R's.
It's amazing how many things on here are Deadpool things. Let's go before Deadpool. Hey, the Green Lantern. I forgot about the Green Lantern.
I bet he wishes he could forget about the Green Lantern. Especially given all the Blake Lively things now.
Amityville Horror.
Okay. I'll give you that. When he for realsies hit a kid.
But yeah, I think those are outliers. You're pretty spot on.
Next up, I had Manic Pixie Dream Girl Queen, Zoe Deschanel.
Yes. She she started out as like the gothy brooding archetype.
Did she?
Um, yeah, one of the McConaughey rom coms.
Oh, Failure to Launch.
Yeah, either that one or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. One of those. Yeah, she's like the jerky best friend and is like the a hole the whole movie.
Yeah.
Whatever the opposite
She.
of dramatic relief? No. What's the opposite of a comedic relief?
It's a dramatic
I don't
foil.
know. Maybe. I have no clue.
I don't know. She's also a little bit more like straightforward and kind of a bummer in Our Idiot Brother, the one with Paul Rudd, because he's supposed to be the one that's just off the wall. But
Yeah.
by and large, like her biggest character trait is she has bangs. And I feel like that's a problem. There was a while I was in middle school and I had like straight across bangs, and people would compare me to her so often. And it's literally
Is
just
that why
because
you
I
picked up
had.
the ukulele?
How dare you? You know what? Maybe I did get bullied into it. I don't know. Subconsciously, I
checking
just
off
needed to.
another thing on the Deschanel bingo card.
Date Chanel number 5 for when you want to smell like a 40-year-old toddler.
Uh,
But I've been rewatching New Girl, and she gets on my nerves. She's just so much of a caricature of a human being. It's just exhausting.
yeah. Especially in the beginning. Does it
Before
still
she gets
work?
any kind of depth.
Is it still enjoyable?
Yes, but not for her. Like the
Got some Schmidt on your
Nick and
face.
Schmidt, the Nick and Schmidt dynamic is the absolute best part of the show. The guys are the best part of that show.
Yeah.
I think about Winston a lot. I have a board in my kitchen, and
AKA
Winnie the Bish.
Winnie the Bish.
I have a board in my kitchen, and the quote on it right now is, "As I live and breathe, raisin." It's such a dumb quote.
I feel like I could watch New Girl again from the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about How I Met Your Mother.
You
And I
think
don't
so?
know why. Maybe it's because I watched How I Met Your Mother so many times before. And I kind of feel the same way about The Office now. Whenever I couldn't find anything else to watch, I'd always put on The Office. I can't tell you the last time I saw an episode of The Office.
I stopped watching it once they took it off of Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just I don't know why that was the dividing line, because I had the other streaming service that it moved to, because I think it's on Peacock now.
It's on Peacock.
I got tired of it. I think that was my I'm good.
It's actually worth revisiting on Peacock because they have extended cuts of the episodes.
Yeah.
But then they also have edited the episodes that are on there. So you remember whenever Colin Robinson, whenever he was on The Office. I can't think of the actor's name. I just always call him Colin Robinson.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember when he was on The Office.
He was the assist. He was in the warehouse with Daryl.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there's a Christmas episode where Dwight is Belschnickel, and Belschnickel's his assistant is named Black Peter, and in the folklore, it's a little enslaved person. So in wherever this is from, I don't even remember where is it from. Germany?
Yeah.
Yeah. Belschnickel is portrayed by a white person in blackface. And there was a scene in The Office where
Oh no.
Colin Robinson shows up as Belschnickel in blackface.
Oh, good lord.
Oh. He's like, what was it? So Dwight was doing his Belschnickel thing, and then he calls him on the phone, and he's walking in from the parking lot, and he says, it's off, don't come." And the actor that plays Colin Robinson is in full blackface and just this, what are those, minstrel, like a minstrel like outfit,
Oh my
walking into the
god.
office. He turns around and gets back in his car, and then in the next scene, you see him at the party. He's still wearing the same clothes, but he took off most of the makeup, but then there's like black paint behind his ear. And they took all that out of the episode.
I can't imagine why.
Because this world is just full of pansies, that's why.
Uh-huh. So you
Ah,
can't watch the beginning of How I Met Your Mother?
not really. No, I've tried a couple times, and I always feel like, why am I doing this? I don't know. I can't enjoy it like I used to.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know if
think
there's no particular reason for it.
I rewatched How I Met Your Mother last year or the year before,
Hmm.
and my perspective on it has completely changed,
Yeah.
and it has very much ruined the show for me.
What was your perspective
Ted
before?
sucks.
He does suck.
Well, so like watching it the first time around, I watched it when it aired, which was 05 to 13?
13,
2013?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching like the finale like day of.
Hmm.
And I watched it without any kind of like nuance because I was too young to have experienced anything romantic.
Yeah.
And I'm 26 now. So having experienced the world as an adult, he's just the worst.
The worst. He is. And his motivations for everything is completely selfish and completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
But he just keeps chugging along anyways, and everyone's like, "Hey man, you're doing great. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing because it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely working."
I was watching a TikTok the other day of Josh Radner, who is anti-Ted, which makes me just incredibly happy. But I was watching this video of Josh Radner, and he was talking about a scene where he's going to find Robin's locket in the last season. This is supposed to be his grand romantic gesture for a woman he is still in love with, despite the fact that she is marrying one of his best friends.
Best friend. Yep.
He's on a bridge with a like stalker of his, and he's having this conversation, and he's like, if you really love somebody, you never stop. Like, you just always keep going. You like will get the thing that you want. Like, you just have to keep trying for it. And so Josh Radner says there's people that will still come up to me like all of the time and say, I love that speech. Like, that's what motivated me to keep going after that person. He was like, I need you to stop. That was not the takeaway. That poor girl. He was like, you're not supposed to be rooting for this.
Yeah.
Like, in real life, that's just not how this works. And so much of that show is just him. Like, the only reason that Robin is still in his life is because she's a part of the group and wants to stay a part of the group because it's the first friend she's ever had.
Hmm.
There's no reason she would be in Ted's life otherwise. He sucks. And he is
He does
actively
suck.
trying to change her for 9 straight seasons.
Yeah.
Down to the finale when the love of his life dies. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It was a stupid ending.
It's a stupid
And
ending.
this is how we planned it all along. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're a liar. That whole last season was just a bullet train because you knew you had no more track left.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to speed to get there as fast as you could, and it showed. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's a problem that you're going to have with most shows because people if there's no ending, then people get to create their own ending. But when you show them how it ended, then one, you're not going to live up to the expectations of what these people had planned and what these people thought that it was going to be, because they've built up this huge thing in their head. And two, you don't space it outright. The only show in recent history that I think really stuck the landing was Breaking Bad. The ending of Breaking Bad. And the ending of Better Call Saul, which, I mean, pretty much it's the same show.
Yeah.
That's because everyone knew what had to happen at the end. It started off with Walt discovering that he has cancer, finding the solution to leave money for his family, and then this man who had just been in service to other people his entire life was finally doing something that he enjoyed for himself, and it was only for himself. And so you just knew that based on his decisions and what he was doing, and based on how the story began, you knew that it was going to end with violence, and you knew that he was going to die at the end. That's all you had to do. But with a show like How I Met Your Mother, there's so many potential ways that it could go that you just couldn't live up to the expectation. You couldn't find a way that would satiate enough people to say that was a great way to end this series.
I beg to differ on that one.
Oh yeah? Okay.
I think that there was a good way to end the show that didn't flip off the fans.
Okay, so how would you have ended it?
The entire point of the show, from start to finish, was that the journey from point A to point B is what's important. Mm-hmm. Like, realistically, the kids existed for most of the time that Ted and Tracy were together.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't need, as a fan, necessarily a whole breakdown of their relationship. We know how Ted is in relationships. We get introduced to Tracy, and we can imagine that they're the same kind of weirdo, because that's what is supposed to make them work better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they had done Robin and Barney's Happily Ever After with Farhampton, Ted had met Tracy, and they had just ended it with, and that kids is How I Met Your Mother, I think it would have been a satisfying ending, because the whole thing was about, like, this is the rough road that it took us to get here, but we're here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it would have been a fine ending if it had just done more of a Sopranos, like, cut to black kind of thing. Yeah. I think that would have been a much better way to end things than 9 years later, we have not moved an inch. He married this woman. He had children with this woman, and he is still in love with Robin, who was married to his best friend.
Yeah.
Like, that feels like it negates any shred of growth that Ted might have had in the entire span of the show.
And it felt like it was an intentional. It felt like subversion for just to subvert.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you thought that this was how it was going to end? Well, boom. I don't know. I was extremely disappointed with it, and I think that probably is a reason why I have such a hard time watching the first stuff, like the first season now, is because I know that it's all for nothing. It's all baloney.
Right.
And I know how it ends. But no, I agree with you that if they hadn't done the whole flash forward, I guess, and Dad, you're in love with Aunt Robin, and then she just happens to be divorced from, where was Barney?
Yeah.
Like, this character that we've watched this entire show from the very first episode, and now all of a sudden he's just out of the picture for some reason, and Robin's fair game, and so now that's how you're going to end it? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I think as far as, like, so the cop-out that they had was that they had already filmed the kids' things back in 2005, when obviously Lindsay Finesca and David Henry were significantly younger.
Yeah.
It would have made so much sense if just in the last bit of the show that it had cut to them in present day and been like, oh my God, I feel like that took forever. Like, you didn't have to reuse footage from 2005. You could have just done this, like, nod to the fact that it has taken them 9 years to hear this story.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah. And then I think it also might have been a little less of a slap in the face if at the end of season 8, he had gotten with the mom, and then you just spent that entire season seeing a sped up version of their relationship
Yeah.
until she died, instead
Yeah.
of doing all that in like 2 episodes at the very end of the series.
She spends more time with almost every member of the group as she does with Ted.
Yeah. Well, I think we've gotten a pretty solid episode out of this. So I think we're going to do a part 2 with mold breakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you compile your list, and we will continue this on to next week's episode.
All right. Any closing words of wisdom?
If you can only do one thing, but you can do that one thing well, then who cares? Make that money, live your life, and enjoy it. Make the most of it. You don't have to branch out to be special. You can just be the guy that says, "Ah!" And that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. What about you?
Remember, in the case that you don't want to be the guy that
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna
No, do it. Come on. Try it. Come on.
do it one more time.
Ah!
You sound like Chewbacca.
No, see, okay. That's a common misconception because it is Chewbacca, but there's an Austrian twang to it. A redneck Austrian
A
twang
redneck
to it.
Chewbacca. If you don't want to be like our boy Mark Sinclair, remember that you contain multitudes. That's all I got.
All right. Well, while we still have you here, check us out on Instagram at Cash Exchange Pod. Check us out on Twitter at Cash Exchange Pod. Catch us on TikTok, which I believe now is Cash Exchange Pod. Or send us an email at cashexchangepod@gmail.com. And with that, we'll see you.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.